please welcome to the stage Vice Chair of the Democratic National Committee and United States Senator Tammy Duckworth.
Hey everyone! Woo! That was a great video. Hey, that video was worth waiting for. Well, it's so great to be here today with each and every one of you. I'm just so proud to be an Illinois Democrat, and I'm proud to be here to celebrate Democrats Day, but to also talk about our accomplishments both here in Illinois and on a national level. So let me tell you what we've done. For those veterans, first, all the veterans and military families in the room, stand up and be recognized. Thank you for your service. So when you go around Illinois and you talk to folks, and you know, one of the criticisms I get all the time is Democrats don't have a message. They never tell you what they've done. The Republicans have their nice little catch lines, and yet we as Democrats don't take credit for what we've done. So let me tell you, when you put Democrats in charge, we deliver. We deliver for working families across this country. We deliver for veterans by passing the PACT Act to make sure that those who have served in harm's way and are exposed to toxic chemicals like burn pits are cared for the rest of their lives and get the benefits that they've earned. We deliver for the American people with the American Rescue Plan, bringing back just to Illinois over $3 billion to help us survive the pandemic and invest in small businesses across this state. We invest in our infrastructure with the bipartisan infrastructure deal, which brought back almost $1.5 billion just to Illinois to make sure that we can rebuild our bridges and roads and schools. And in that bill, I'm very proud of it, was my work on water infrastructure to replace 100% of the lead service lines in this country so our kids don't have to drink poison water. I never thought when I ran for the Senate 6 years ago I'd be so excited about sewer systems, but I am proud to have put money into that bill to fix our sewer systems across our state and across this country so folks like those who live in Cahokia Heights don't have to have raw sewage in their yards at Christmas time. And let me tell you, the money from the American Rescue Plan and the money from the bipartisan infrastructure deal could not be doing the work that it's doing now in Illinois and all across, especially here in Illinois, if Governor Pritzker had not passed a capital budget to make sure that Illinois was ready to go when the federal dollars came. And that is the importance of the state and federal partnership. That is why we have to get every Democrat on the ballot, from me at the top with the Governor Pritzker and Juliana Stratton all the way down to every single Dem on that ballot, because it takes all of us working together to get development and investments back to our state. I am also proud that we set aside money for our environmental justice communities so that whether you're in Waukegan, Illinois, exposed to ethylene oxide, or you are in Cairo, Illinois, or you're in Cahokia Heights, you get your communities fixed in terms of the environmental pollutants that we've been dumping in your communities for all of these decades. You know, people tell me, well, just put our money into the bipartisan infrastructure plan, and, you know, a rising tide raises all boats. Eventually, those communities will be helped. A rising tide raises all boats, but not if your boat has a hole in it. So we've got to fix the problems in our environmental justice communities. And I was listening to Mark Frerichs talk about missing his daughter's first day of school, and I reflect back on all of the days that I've had to miss of my two beautiful girls, Miley Pearl and Abigail's young lives. Miley's 4 and Abigail's 7. And by the way, I'm started an RV tour of the state with 2 girls, 4 and 7, a nanny, me, my husband, my mother, and by the way, my husband and my mother do not get along, in a single RV for 2 weeks. So pray for us. Come see us during our RV tour. We'll be all over the state. But you know, my girls, they miss out on a lot, which is why we're doing this RV tour, so they can see the work that I'm doing, so that they can see what's happening across Illinois. And before we had the Votorama, which sounds way more fun than it really is, to pass the Inflation Reduction Act, my daughter had a party planned, and I ended up missing it because we started voting on Friday at noon, and we had another 2 or 3 more votes that day, and then that evening at 11 o'clock at night, we started the Votorama, which went on with a vote every 20 minutes for the next 40-plus votes, and we finished Saturday at 3 in the afternoon. And by the way, during that whole thing, Dick Durbin was on the floor of the Senate holding the Democrats together, standing up to speak, backhanding every Republican who would oppose all of the sensible things we had in it for things like protecting Medicare recipients and capping their out-of-pocket cost at $2,000. For things, the Republicans are opposing things like a $35 cap for insulin. They were opposing bringing us back to below 2005 levels for carbon emissions. They were opposing everything. Dick Durbin was there every single step of the way, backhanging them, making sure that we as Democrats stuck together. But when I got home to see my daughter later that day, and I'd missed yet another party, one of the things my 7-year-old asks me all the time is like, are you going to save the earth? The earth is in trouble. Can we get an electric car? I said, well, we're still driving my 2014 Mom-mobile minivan. It still works fine. We're going to keep working on, before we buy a new car. But that day, after that marathon session, I was able to go home and look at her, and she said, well, Mommy, did you save the earth today? And I was able to say, yeah, I did a little bit. Yeah, I did a little bit. And it was because of you, every one of you in this room who knocked on doors and sent letters and wrote letters to the editors and got the message out. I was able to say that because I am a proud Illinois Democrat. I am so grateful to have had 6 years as your U.S. Senator. I'm asking you to help me get another 6 years. The person that is running against me is so extreme that she won't even allow abortions in the case of rape, incest, or to save the life of a mother. Can you imagine that? And the decision on Roe v. Wade that the Supreme Court handed down was really a decision saying that we no longer, those of us with uteruses, have the privacy rights to bodily autonomy. And it is not just about abortions. It is also about access to things like IUDs and birth control, other forms of birth control. It is also about access to IVF. The Texas Right to Life group that wrote the Texas anti-abortion bounty laws recently came out and said, yeah, we want the frozen embryos from IVF procedures as well. So when you get out there and you talk to people and you talk about Illinois being this blue island in the middle of a sea of red that is providing sanctuary for women all across this country, and yes, all across this country, because women come from as far as Texas to come to Illinois to get the health care that they need. And it is thanks to our lieutenant governor and our governor that Illinois continue to provide those services and are welcoming women here into Illinois to support them. I'm proud also that I was able to put lactation rooms in every airport in this country. So when you travel around and you see those lactation rooms, and you think about the moms in there feeding their babies or pumping breast milk, think of me. I know, it's like, if you think of boobies, think of Tammy. I don't know if that's a good campaign line or not, but anyway, in those lactation rooms. I'm also proud that the ASAP Act that came out of Dorval Carter's mind for the CTA is now a national program to make sure that 100% of our metro and transit stations in this country will be fully accessible for persons with disabilities for the first time in our nation's history. There's so much more that Democrats have done, but that is just a start, and we have so much more to do. And as I go on this RV tour, I'm going to go all over the state talking to folks, and I've been going to lots of fun, groundbreaking ceremonies. In fact, this coming year, we're going to be bringing about $2.5 million into a health clinic in Flora, Illinois, in Clay County, a county where that Mary Miller, as their congressional rep, has refused to participate in the congressional directly spending program. And I'm finding myself in lots of places where the Republicans have voted time and again against legislation that is bringing money into those counties. And what I say to them when I show up with those mayors and those county executives and we're doing those groundbreaking, I better not see a single Republican here, because not a single one of those guys voted for this. And I don't care if his father was the Secretary of Transportation. He voted against it. He doesn't get to be here. So thank you for supporting me. Thank you for helping me in this campaign. We're going to get everybody across the finish line, every single one of us, because working families do better when Democrats are in charge. And by the way, just so you know, the Inflation Reduction Act is true to form, because in addition to providing all of the services that I've already mentioned, it also reduces the budget by almost it reduces the deficit by almost $500 million. We can deliver for the people and bring down the deficit. I am Tammy Duckworth, and I am a proud Illinois Democrat. Thank you.